Why did Il Volo just walk away from a sold-out global tour? While fans are still reeling over the cancelled 2026 dates, the truth might be far more lucrative than a stadium seat, because the trio is quietly trading the exhausting grind of the road for the untouchable prestige of high-fashion luxury icons. And in today's deep-dive documentary, we uncover how Piero Barone, Ignazio Boschetto, and Gianluca Ginoble may have executed one of the boldest strategic pivots in modern music history, transforming from a global touring machine into a carefully curated symbol of luxury, cultural influence, and aesthetic power. Because for more than a decade, Il Volo dominated the classical crossover world, with thunderous arena performances, sweeping orchestral arrangements, and emotionally charged operatic vocals that carried their music from European concert halls to massive stages in North America, Latin America, and Asia. Yet behind the glamour of sold-out venues and roaring audiences, another reality was quietly unfolding, one that exposed the physical and vocal toll of the endless touring machine lifestyle that defines much of the global music industry, where artists are expected to perform night after night across continents, sacrificing sleep, vocal recovery, and personal stability for the relentless demand of stadium-scale entertainment. And this is where the controversial pivot begins, because what appeared to the public as a sudden cancellation of international concerts in 2026 may actually represent a deliberate long-term strategy designed to protect the trio's artistry, longevity, and cultural relevance rather than chasing the traditional model of constant touring. Il Volo appears to be embracing a radically different philosophy, one built around the principle of scarcity, influence, and aesthetic transformation. And that transformation starts with a striking realization. The era of the touring machine may be dying, because in today's digital age, where social media, visual storytelling, and brand identity hold enormous cultural power, the traditional idea that musicians must constantly travel the world to maintain relevance is rapidly changing, and Il Volo seems to be stepping directly into this new paradigm by choosing visibility over volume, elegance over exhaustion, and curated appearances over endless performances. And as this new strategy unfolds, a fascinating shift becomes visible. The trio is no longer presenting themselves simply as vocalists standing under stage lights, but rather as visual ambassadors of Italian excellence, appearing in refined editorial photography, luxury campaigns, and high-fashion cultural spaces that project an entirely different kind of prestige and influence. And this is where the concept known as the scarcity principle begins to reshape their narrative, because, in the world of luxury branding, rarity creates value and visibility, without overexposure creates mystique. And when public appearances become rare, each one gains extraordinary attention and significance, meaning that being seen less can actually increase perceived cultural power. And in the case of Il Volo, this strategy may be redefining what success looks like for artists who have already conquered the global touring circuit for years, because instead of performing hundreds of concerts across continents, the trio can focus on fewer but more carefully crafted cultural moments, from high-profile fashion collaborations to editorial storytelling that positions them not only as musicians but as timeless symbols of style, heritage, and refined artistry. And this visual evolution represents a dramatic contrast to the exhausting logistics of international touring, where artists navigate packed schedules, complex travel arrangements, unpredictable acoustics, and intense performance pressure every single night. And by stepping away from that system, Il Volo may be protecting the most valuable instrument they possess, their voices. Because operatic vocal performance demands extraordinary physical discipline, vocal rest, and controlled environments. And the constant strain of touring can challenge even the most disciplined singers, especially when performances require powerful, sustained high notes and emotional intensity that must be repeated night after night for global audiences. And as a result, their pivot toward visual cultural influence, rather than continuous touring, may not only preserve their vocal longevity, but also elevate their public identity beyond the category of touring performers, transforming them into enduring cultural figures whose influence extends into fashion art and international luxury media, and in cities such as Milan and Paris, where the intersection between music, fashion, and design defines modern cultural prestige. This transformation becomes particularly powerful because fashion photography, editorial storytelling, and luxury branding offer a controlled environment where every detail from wardrobe to lighting to posture contributes to a narrative of elegance and timeless sophistication. And within this environment, Il Volo's identity evolves into something larger than music alone. It becomes a curated artistic presence that celebrates Italian craftsmanship, visual storytelling, and the heritage of European style. And when audiences encounter these images, campaigns, and cultural moments, they experience the trio not simply as entertainers, but as ambassadors of an entire aesthetic tradition. And this transition highlights an important idea in modern media culture: the concept of aesthetic scarcity, where limited appearances generate greater fascination than constant exposure. Because when artists step back from the relentless spotlight, the mystery surrounding them grows stronger. Audiences begin to anticipate each new appearance with heightened curiosity, and luxury brands recognize that this exclusivity creates enormous marketing value, because rare public visibility transforms artists into symbols of prestige rather than routine entertainment. And in this sense, the trio's shift toward high-fashion collaborations and luxury editorial storytelling becomes a strategic masterstroke that aligns perfectly with the psychology of modern influence, where visual identity, cultural symbolism, and narrative depth often carry more long-term value than repetitive performance schedules. And as this new chapter unfolds, another fascinating transformation becomes clear. Il Volo is redefining what a performance can be. Because in the past, their artistry unfolded primarily on stage through powerful live vocals, orchestral accompaniment, and emotional storytelling delivered directly to thousands of fans inside arenas. Yet today, performance can also exist through imagery, symbolism, and visual narratives captured in carefully orchestrated creative projects, where a single photograph campaign or fashion collaboration can circulate globally through digital platforms, reaching millions of viewers while preserving the artist's physical energy and creative control. And in this evolving media landscape, a high jewelry editorial campaign or luxury brand collaboration may hold cultural longevity that rivals the memory of a single concert, because visual assets can be revisited, shared, and rediscovered across years, becoming part of a permanent archive of artistic identity rather than a fleeting moment in a stadium that disappears once the lights fade. And this shift suggests that Il Volo's future influence may be measured not only by ticket sales or tour mileage, but by their ability to represent a broader narrative of Italian cultural excellence, where music, fashion, heritage, and artistic elegance converge into a unified global identity. And by embracing this philosophy, the trio may be securing a future that allows them to remain culturally relevant for decades, while avoiding the burnout that often accompanies the relentless touring cycles of modern entertainment. And for fans, this transformation offers a surprising benefit, because rather than witnessing an exhausted group struggling to maintain impossible schedules, audiences may instead enjoy a well-rested artist collective capable of delivering rare, extraordinary performances when the moment truly matters. And as the music industry continues to evolve, Il Volo's bold decision may become a blueprint for future artists seeking to balance artistic longevity with cultural influence, proving that stepping away from the road is not always a retreat, but sometimes the most powerful strategic move an artist can make. And if you love Il Volo music and want more deep celebrity documentary stories about Piero Barone, Ignazio Boschetto, and Gianluca Ginoble, make sure you subscribe to this channel right now so you never miss the next video exploring the hidden strategies, controversies, and industry shifts shaping the global legacy of Il Volo.